Let's move on to other stories. And investigators on the GRA-SML deal are demanding the publication of the full audit report from KPMG. President Akufo-Addo has given the Ghana Revenue Authority the go-ahead to continue the audit contracts of the downstream petroleum sector with Strategic Mobilization Limited after receiving the report from KPMG. According to him, the deal is crucial in saving the country resources. But the Fourth Estate, which exposed the anomalies in the contracts, want the full report published. Here is lead investigator Manasseh Azuriawani.
That the president decided to look into it and certain actions have been taken. It is important to stress that the component of the contract that has been cancelled is the biggest component in terms of the revenue we are saving. The upstream petroleum and also the mining sector components of the contract, per our production figures as a country, we were going to pay about $90 million to KPMG every single year. So that angle has been, or component has been cancelled. So it is significant savings, in addition to some price verification aspect that has also been cancelled. Now, the part that has been kept is the downstream petroleum contract. And that one, the president based his decision to keep the contract on the basis that SML is checking under reporting and under declaration. If you watch our documentary, we put this question to SML and asked whether they were doing under reporting or they were checking under the reporting or under declaration. The company said they were doing none of those services.
It was on their website.
It was on their website, and after we confronted them, they deleted that information from their website. The GRA, which awarded the contract to SML, also told us that SML did not and does not check under reporting or under declaration. The most disturbing part of that contract is the measurement that SML's meters claim to be taken. Those measurements are not used for tax purposes by even the GRA, which contracted them. We asked the SML engineers, which of the recordings, you know, the NPA has a system called the ERDMS that is connected to the customs system, the ICOMS. And it is the figures that go through the NPA system that are used for tax purposes. And SML's engineers explained that their meters, the SML meters, are non-intrusive. They are placed on the pipelines, but the meters at the depots that go through the NPA system that is used by customs, they take more accurate recording because they are intrusive. They take the exact measurement of petroleum product that goes through them. So the very basis for keeping that contract, that SML is checking under declaration, under reporting, the company has said on record, and it is in our documentary, on camera, that we don't do those services.
So on what basis then will the presidency be acting by saying that that contract should rather go on when KPMG, and as we've watched in your documentary, have clearly alluded to the fact that they are not doing that work, and in fact have put SML, I should say, and have in fact gone ahead to take down that aspect from their website. But here we see in the president's directives that that contract must stay. So what might be contributing to that, especially when KPMG is simply telling you don't have that? Do you see that maybe KPMG has been shown contracts, probably that have been signed, for which reason the president now said that should go on?
Well, I would be very measured in perhaps attacking KPMG until I see the KPMG report. Because I did a GIDA investigation, the president issued some directives on the GIDA report. But when the report itself was published, it was worse than what the presidency issued. This was in 2013. So with this experience, I'm a bit measured. But what we can say is that, look, it is good news to the Republic of Ghana that the upstream petroleum contract and the gold mining contracts are off the table.
Well, the Strategic Mobilization Limited has in the last few hours issued a response to the controversy. Kweku Asante joins me in the studio with details of that response. Kweku, how is the SML responding to this controversy?
Well, Aisha, the SML statement is quite detailed. It responds to some of the concerns and some of the findings of the KPMG in this audit report that it investigated. For instance, when it came to the allegations of impropriety, KPMG, the report actually spoke about how some amount of money had been given and all that. KPMG says that report, according to SML, they believe that the report by KPMG debunks what they call a false claim that $100 million had been paid to SML by the investigators. You heard there in the investigation that Manasseh put out. They also talk about what they believe is that the need for SML services has been affirmed, and they think that the president asking them to continue with certain parts of this contract shows that this contract is important, it is necessary for the state to benefit from it. Then they disagree with certain findings of KPMG. They say that they disagree with the findings that a need assessment was not done before the SML commenced the operations. They also disagree with KPMG finding that the transaction audit and external price verification agreements were all not properly done. And then KPMG also found in the report that the delivery of the contract was not up to a certain level and that they were below par delivery of the contract. So while the contract was important, KPMG did not do so, SML did not do so much of a good work. SML in this statement say they disagree with that from KPMG, and they say SML rejects KPMG's assessment that it partially delivered on several requirements regarding the transaction audit service agreement, and that regarding the transaction audit services, SML delivered fully on its obligations as outlined in the contract. And then it goes on to talk about what they believe the KPMG misquoted certain figures or they were misled in making certain representation in terms of the amount of money that has actually been paid. KPMG in their report talked about how a compensation of 1 billion and 61 million cedis have already been paid to SML. KPMG says, SML says that is not so accurate, and then they say that it's interesting to know that this figure is quoted without reference to the investments made and the taxes that have been paid by SML over the period within the consolidated contract. And so overall, they say that the KPMG report exonerates SML and confirms the need for the company's proven services, Aisha.
Right, so it does appear that a lot more people are demanding for the full report. Definitely, the full report will put the matter to rest. Kweku Asante, thank you so much for bringing us those.